My name is Clara. I am a woman, 35 years old. I have blonde hair and blue eyes. Some people say I am pretty. I work as a professor. I teach economics at a big college. I like my job a lot. My students are young and full of energy. My life is usually quiet. I go to work every day. After work, I come home, read books, and relax. I have a few friends, but I'm not dating anyone. I am single. Sometimes I feel a little lonely in my quiet life. This semester, a new student joined my economics class. His name is George. He is very young, only 21 years old. He has dark hair and a nice smile. He always sits in the front of the classroom. George is a smart student. He understands the subject well. He asks good questions, but sometimes I notice him looking at me. He looks at me while I teach, while I write on the board. It's not a normal student look. It feels different. After class, George often stays behind. Other students leave quickly, but he waits. He usually talks about the lesson, but sometimes it's more. One afternoon, he smiled and said, "Professor Clara, your lecture today was really interesting. You explained things very well." His eyes looked kind when he said this. Another time, he said, "You look very nice today, Professor. I like that color on you." He said it quietly. I felt my face get warm. I was surprised by his words. He was my student. He was only 21. In my mind, I told myself, "Clara, be careful. This is not okay. He's too young, and I'm his professor. There are rules." When George started talking about things that were not about the lesson, I tried to stop him. "George," I would say in a firm voice, "do you have a question about the class? Let's talk about economics." I wanted to stay professional. I needed to set a clear boundary. I told him, "My personal life is mine. Yours is yours. Our talks must be only about school." Still, it was hard. A small part of me felt happy when he said nice things. It had been a long time since someone noticed me like that. It felt good. But I knew it was not right. I had to be strong. I had to be careful. He was my student, that's the most important thing. I tried my best to be a good professor. When George spoke to me, I only talked about the subject. I said things like, "Do you have any questions about today's topic?" I didn't want to talk about anything else. He was my student. I was his teacher. This was serious. I reminded myself many times, "Clara, this is not okay. He's too young for me." I kept a professional distance. I didn't want problems at work. My job meant everything to me. But George kept looking at me that way. He smiled at me after class. Sometimes he said kind things. I tried not to listen, but it was hard. A small part of me felt good. It had been a long time since someone looked at me with so much interest. It felt nice to be noticed again. Still, I knew it was wrong, so I pushed the feeling away. I focused on my teaching. I worked on my research. The semester passed quickly. I felt very tired. Teaching is hard work, and this term felt harder than normal. I needed a break. I needed to get away from college, from the city, from these confusing feelings. I wanted to rest. I looked online for a holiday. I found a beautiful island, far from home. It had sunny beaches and quiet places. It looked perfect. I booked the trip. I told myself, I will go to this island. I will sit on the beach, read books, listen to the sea, and swim in warm water. I will not think about work. I will not think about college. I will not think about students. I will not think about George. I slowly packed my bags. I was ready. I needed peace, sun, and quiet. I wanted to forget everything. When I arrived at the island, I felt calm. I was sitting at a beach bar one evening. The air was warm. The sea was quiet. There was soft music. I had a cool drink in my hand. I felt far away from everything. Then I heard a voice, "Clara. Professor Clara." I turned around quickly. My eyes opened wide. It was George. He was standing there, with some friends. I couldn't believe it. George, my student, was here, on the same island. It felt impossible. He walked over with his smile. "Hello, Professor Clara," he said. "This is amazing. What are you doing here?" I said, "Hello, George. I'm on holiday." He stopped near my table. His friends were watching. "Wow," he said. "Meeting you here is such a crazy surprise." "Yes," I said. A big surprise. Then he asked, Professor, Clara, can I buy you a drink? I thought for a moment. We are not in college now, we were on holiday. Far away. Okay, George, I said. Thank you. Just one drink. He went to the bar and came back. He sat with me. His friends went to sit somewhere else. We started talking. We had one drink, then a second, then a third. We didn't talk about school. We didn't talk about economics or rules. We talked about our lives, our dreams, our favorite things. George told me funny stories. He made me laugh. I felt different. I felt young. I was not Professor Clara anymore. I was just Clara. George looked at me with warm eyes. I felt happy. Later, the bar closed. We walked along the beach. The sky was dark blue. The moon was big and silver. George took my hand as we walked. His hand felt warm and strong. My heart was beating fast. We stopped. He looked at me. Clara, he said softly, you're so different here. So relaxed. And you're very beautiful. I felt shy, but happy. He leaned closer. He kissed me. My mind said, no. He's your student. But my body didn't listen. I kissed him back. It was a long kiss. It felt like the world stopped. Then we walked from the beach to his hotel. We went to his room. We spent the night together. We talked. We kissed. It was a night I will never forget. It felt new. It felt exciting. But deep down, I knew it also felt a little wrong. He was 21. I was 35. He was my student. But on that island, for one night, we were just Clara and George. He told me about his family and his dreams. I shared a little about my quiet life. We talked about movies we liked and music we listened to. George's friends were around sometimes. They were loud and full of energy like young people often are. But mostly, it was just George and me talking. He was easy to talk to. He made me laugh a lot. I felt happy and free. I felt like I was young again, like I was 21, not 35. I didn't feel like Professor Clara anymore. I was just Clara, a woman on holiday. George wasn't my student here. He was just George, a charming young man. And it felt good to just be myself with him. The bar started to close. People were leaving. George and I walked onto the beach. The sand felt soft under our feet. The sky was dark, but the moon was big and bright. Its light made the sea look silver. We walked slowly near the water. The warm breeze touched my skin. It was a beautiful, quiet night. George stopped walking and turned to face me. He smiled softly. You're very different here, Clara, he said, not like in class. You're more relaxed. I like Clara. He took my hand. His hand was warm and strong. My heart started beating fast like a small bird in my chest, but I didn't pull my hand away. He looked into my eyes for a long time. Then said quietly, you're very beautiful, Clara. My face felt warm. I felt happy, but also nervous and confused. This moment was real and it was happening. George leaned closer and kissed me. At first, it was soft, then it became longer and deeper. My mind said, no, Clara. Stop. This is wrong. He's your student. But my heart and body said, yes. It had been so long since I felt this kind of attention. We kissed more on the beach under the moonlight. It felt exciting. A little wild. Later, George asked, do you want to come back to my hotel room? I said yes. We walked from the beach. I was 35. He was my student. But on that island, for one night, we were just Clara and George. He told me about his family and his dreams. I shared a little about my quiet life. We talked about movies we liked and music we listened to. George's friends were around sometimes. They were loud and full of energy like young people often are. But mostly, it was just George and me talking. He was easy to talk to. He made me laugh a lot. I felt happy and free. I felt like I was young again, like I was 21, not 35. I didn't feel like Professor Clara anymore. I was just Clara, a woman on holiday. George wasn't my student here. He was just George, a charming young man. And it felt good to just be myself with him. The bar started to close. People were leaving. George and I walked onto the beach. The sand felt soft under our feet. The sky was dark, but the moon was big and bright. Its light made the sea look silver. We walked slowly near the water. The warm breeze touched my skin. It was a beautiful, quiet night. George stopped walking and turned to face me. He smiled softly. You're very different here, Clara, he said, not like in class. You're more relaxed. I like Clara. He took my hand. His hand was warm and strong. My heart started beating fast like a small bird in my chest, but I didn't pull my hand away. He looked into my eyes for a long time. Then said quietly, "You're very beautiful, Clara." My face felt warm, I felt happy, but also nervous and confused. This moment was real and it was happening. George leaned closer and kissed me. At first, it was soft, then it became longer and deeper. My mind said, "No, Clara. Stop. This is wrong. He's your student." But my heart and body said, yes. It had been so long since I felt this kind of attention. We kissed more on the beach under the moonlight. It felt exciting. A little wild. Later, George asked, "Do you want to come back to my hotel room?" I said yes. We walked from the beach to his hotel. His room was small and a bit messy, like a young man's room. We talked more, we kissed more, we spent the night together. It was a night I won't forget. It felt new, it felt exciting, it also felt a little wrong. But at that moment, it felt right. Back home in the cold truth, the next morning, the sun was bright. I woke up in George's room. My head felt heavy. The first thing I felt was guilt. What did I do? He was my student. This was wrong. But I also felt happy. The night before had felt good. I enjoyed being with him. I felt alive. George woke up and smiled. "Good morning, Clara," he said. We had breakfast. It was a little quiet. I knew I had to say something. "George," I said carefully, "last night. Back at college, this can't happen again." I felt nervous. He looked at me seriously. "I know," he said. "But I like you, Clara. A lot. Can we maybe see each other? Quietly? In secret?" A part of me wanted to say yes. My heart felt warm hearing that he liked me. "Maybe. Just maybe, we could be careful. Maybe," I whispered. "But we would have to be very, very careful." The holiday ended too soon. We returned to the city. We returned to college. Everything felt different. In class, George didn't look at me. He looked at his book the whole time. He didn't smile. He didn't try to catch my eye. After class, he didn't wait. He left with his friends, quickly. He was cold. He was just a student again. I was just the professor. I felt confused. I felt hurt. I sent him a message. "Hi George, are you okay? Can we talk?" But he didn't reply. Days passed. He kept ignoring me. My stomach felt tight with worry. One afternoon, I walked past the student cafe. I heard loud voices and laughter. I heard George's voice. I stopped. One of his friends said, "So George, did you really do it with Professor Pretty Eyes on the island?" George laughed loudly. "Yeah, man. Easy. Won the bet. $100. She was all over me after a few drinks. Told you I could get her. Pay up." My body went cold. My blood felt like ice. A bet. A dare. $100. Everything, the smiles, the attention, the night, it was all a joke, a game, a way to win money and show off. My heart broke into pieces. I felt sick, used, so stupid. My life falls apart. That moment changed everything. My world fell apart. My heart was crushed. How could I be so blind? How could I trust him? The college felt different. Whispers followed me. Friendly faces disappeared. Students looked at me with curiosity or judgment. Some looked away completely. My colleagues were cold and distant. They smiled small fake smiles, or not at all. I ate lunch alone. I walked to my office alone. I taught my classes under a heavy cloud of shame. Then the call came. The dean wanted to see me. Dean Thompson was strict. He believed in rules and order. I sat in front of him. His face was serious. "Professor Clara," he said slowly, "we've received troubling information about you and Mr. George Tanner." I tried to speak. I wanted to tell the truth. Yes, it was a mistake, but it was a setup. George planned it. It was a cruel dare, but my voice was weak. My hands were shaking. I didn't even believe my words. He listened, but his face didn't change. He talked about the rules, the trust between teachers and students. He said what I did was unprofessional. It didn't matter that George started it. It didn't matter that I was tricked. I was an adult. I was the professor, It was my responsibility. The result was clear. My job is over. A few days later, I got the official letter. I was fired. Years of work. My career. My future all gone. News spread fast. I became the center of a scandal. The woman who crossed the line. My life was broken. A new start. After the pain, something else came, cold anger. George had destroyed my life. He used me like a game. He laughed about it. He won money. He needed to feel what I felt. I knew his father was a powerful man. He cared a lot about his family's name. That was George's weak point. So I wrote a letter, no name on it. I sent it to his father's office. In the letter, I told everything. How George made a bet, how he used me, how he laughed after. Later, I heard from someone that George got in big trouble. His father was furious. George was pulled out of college. His friends turned on him. His name was ruined. A small piece of justice. But still, I couldn't stay in that city. Too many memories, too many eyes watching me. So I packed up my things. I moved far away, to a small, quiet town by the sea. I found a small flat near the beach. I got a job in a little bookshop. It was peaceful. No one asked about my past. No one judged me. Each day, I felt a little better. The pain became smaller. The anger faded. I walked on the beach every morning. I listened to the sea. I read books. And slowly, I smiled again. A real smile. Here, I was just Clara. Not Professor Clara, not the woman from the scandal, just a woman with a new beginning. My life was simple now, but it was peaceful, and it was mine. I was okay. I was strong, and I was happy again.